Receivers appeared to really stand out on Saturday. Is that the best you've had that group play since you've been here?
Yeah, I believe it has. Didn't have any drop balls. I thought they played with speed and made the contested catches. I think we've been talking about that for 3 years around here, and I was really excited about them. And it's nice to see the distribution of the ball. They all feel like they're a part of it, and in this offense, anybody can get it. So that's kind of how it's based, and so that was really good to see.
In the film watch, anything stand out that didn't strike you immediately after the game? Saturday?
Yeah, 4 penalties, 3 of them in the first half, pre-snap penalties that we talked about. Didn't have any pre-snap penalties in the second half, which was good. But then we had a 15-yard penalty that brought back about a 50-yard third down conversion. 2 turnovers, awful. And then 3 for 11 on third down. We had so many opportunities to be at least 50% and be really good. Give us 2 or 3 more possessions to where we're driving the ball, defenses, and too many 3 and outs that led to that. And if we can clean that up, we've got a chance to be pretty good.
What do you do?
Chris's fumbles, how's he bounced back mentally from that? What's his method?
Don't even talk about him. I mean, he went around, and AJ told him before, he went out there and he said, protect the ball, know where we're at in this game. And he came around, he actually had his hand locked. He actually had it the way you're supposed to. And when he came around, he just got it ripped out, and you've got to, that can't happen.
Mark mentioned the running backs missing some run. What exactly do you mean by that?
Patience. We had, it's interesting because, somebody asked me about first down efficiency because we're big on that. We were really good on first down. And we missed, I think, 3 critical reads where we're 2nd and 4, 2nd and 2, and 2nd and 6. And we stayed at that or got worse because of the run where we're first down or we're 3rd and 1 or we're 3rd and 2 or we're manageable. And just getting quick on reads, not trusting it, and they'll learn from it. One was, the next one became a 40-yard touchdown. So, Benny was quick too sometimes. He had to learn that, and they've got to learn that as well.
Von Wagner's confidence just seems to grow, day by day. Did you kind of see that on Saturday?
Yeah, I did. You know what? He's got some technical stuff that he's still working on, but man, he's a huge target. The one on the slant, he needed to level that off a little bit more. If he'd have leveled that off, it could have been a completion for 3rd and 4. He went at a bad angle, and he's got to learn those little things like that. But absolutely, we kind of talked about it before camp ended. The confidence that we have, and that's how he became a starter.
Was that group, is that kind of what you've been seeing from them throughout camp?
We have. We've seen the growth, the catches, not so many drops, and that's been really good for Terry. Because some of those balls weren't perfect, and that's what we've been talking about. They're not all going to be perfect. We have to make the routine plays. We had that one series where we throw a stop route and we skip it to him. The one thing that Terry can do now is Terry comes back and he tells me, Coach, I know exactly what it was. And then he overthrows Ali on a crosser that's going to be a 40 or 50-yard gain. And it was all about his technique. And, he comes back and makes some unbelievable throws. So I think that's getting better for us. And if that continues to get better, then we'll be more efficient in the pass game.
So are you guys rewatching any film from when you last played them 2 years ago? And is there anything you're taking away from that if you guys did watch it?
Yeah, we got our tail kicked. We absolutely got our tail kicked. We didn't play well enough. It was awful. And the answer is yes, we have watched it. And yes, they are seeing it.
Several of those guys in that game, on the offensive line, gave up a lot of sacks and tackles for loss. How much have they taken that to heart this week? And
yes, they've watched it, and yes, they know about it.
Eddie, how similar is Eastern Michigan's defense now to what it was 2 years ago?
They do a phenomenal. Their coaching staff is really, really good. I'm going to tell you, their kids, they understand football. They understand schemes. They understand leverage. They're great tacklers. They play with a great sense of urgency at all times. And it might not be a lot, but what they do it darn near perfect. And you have to go out and beat this team. You have to out-physical them, and you have to beat them. You have to be darn near perfect. Yeah, you look at last year. They've only given up 23 points last year a game. They had Purdue 12-10 all the way up into the fourth quarter, and they struggled. People struggle if you don't do the things right, and they'll hang around and hang around and hang around, and I think they're a well-coached football team.
Is there a guy on their tape that kind of jumps out at you and you got to account for?
Yeah, their nickel Sam, 24. He's a heck of a football player. His effort and his energy is unbelievable. A couple guys up front that are stout. They're 300 pounders that you can't move, unless you get great technique on him. Twitchy. And I think the rushers are a little bit different this week than we saw last week on the edge.
How did your tight ends play?
They played good. I would say about a B minus. It's Coach Merrill's going to be hard on them and get after him. It was Keaton's first time, but Keaton did pretty good. We'll get Justin and we'll get those guys involved a little bit more as we progress. But we did some other good things in the passing game that I think will help that with those guys. So, but they played good, not great. We want to get to great.
You talk about riding the hot hand with the running backs, but is it a case, if you're one of those guys in the receiving game gets that, would you keep one to spread around or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Coach Smith will keep them going. And it really depends on the weather. It depends on what kind of routes they're running. 2 or 3 in a row. That if they're running deep routes, they've got to get back and get somebody else in there. I think we're creating a little bit of depth though, to where we can use a couple people out there and maybe not have somebody go. As a receiver, you go 40, 50 plays. You're humping it.
Terry was only sacked once. How much does the pass pro help having Landon Young back in there?
It's huge. I thought they all really did a nice job. You look back and you can pause it, and we had a nice pocket. And Terry felt really comfortable. We had one bonehead deal where Terry threw that ball to Lynn, and those are the things we want to get away from. But it was one, so if we can get away from those, that's a bad mistake, but I thought our pass protection was really good. I wasn't just pleased with the running back pass protection. We missed a blitz and we had a guy wide open. Lynn would have been another 50-yard explosive pass. It was just embarrassing. Didn't finish on one, and it was actually on that play. And so we got to make sure that we clean that up.
And if you have a weapon like that Duffy at punter, does that affect your mindset at all, or your aggressiveness on sometimes some situations in the game?
No, I don't think Coach and I are talking the whole time. And as we develop this with our passing game, I think would allow us to be more aggressive at times. But to have him back there and what he is as a weapon is huge for changing the field. They pinned us back, I think, 3 times. Coming out, and he flipped the field. And that you can't. That's huge.
Okay, folks. Thank you very much. Got a
Thank
bunch
y'all.
of players ready.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.